Alrighty guys, I am back at it again with the tier list videos. Now, as I promised a long time ago in my summer 2021 tier list video, I did mention that I would do a fall 2021 video to like make up for like the lateness and like just uploading the summer 2021 video at like literally the end of the season. Already set up beforehand what I haven't seen and what I just won't watch, as the note here explains. Anyways, without further ado, let's just get to the tier list. We're starting off with S tier. So 86. Definitely an 86 out of 10. Season 2 or more of part 2. It's really changed what the first core has shown us. Like, we've like gone through a whole process with like Lena and like the Republic, with like the country that the main cast, Sheen and the others have been risking their lives for nothing. It's really changed from like that scenery, from that setting, to just becoming independent on their own, becoming like affiliated with like some other country or republic. But instead, this time they're not treated like like pigs. They're actually treated like equally. They're treated like actual people, like actual kids they want to help out and save. They like don't want them out there risking their lives. But of course, the 86 Sheen and the main cast here, the life on battlefield is just the life on battlefield is just where they belong. This season has really shown us that like being on the battlefield is like really where they belong, where they shine the most, and they really show it in show it in a meaningful way that just like really expresses all this and like expresses the situation around them and everything. Just overall, see, like part 1 has just been even greater quality than what part 1 has shown us. Not that part 1 isn't good. Part 1 is amazing. Part 1 is amazing, but part 2 has just become even more amazing and has just like exceeded with the character development of these characters, and just 86 just really deserves a high S tier. And next up is Mushoku Tensei. Obviously, this will be going in S also, since Mushoku Tensei is an amazing anime. Each character has their own unique set of developments. Let's take Eris for example. When she was first introduced, she was pretty much an immature brat. But as we've passed throughout the season, in part 2, it really shows her development. Her development like really stands out. She turns from that to a mature woman and a really strong person who wants to support Rudius. Eris has really become a really mature character. She's matured from how she was in part 1, which really just stood out to me. And she has like really matured to the point where she could stand on her own 2 feet, well, having to learn from anyone or having help from anyone, and she just wants to support Rudius. Or a better example is how we had a Roxy episode in part 2. Basically, in this episode, it went over a part of Roxy's backstory that we didn't know before. We didn't really know before, because we never knew about Roxy's past before that certain episode, if I recall correctly. So this really gave an opportunity for Roxy to shine, even though she doesn't get a lot of screen time in season 1. But it really gave her a moment to shine and a really good time for development. And it made me learn something that I didn't even know about her. Now I see her character a lot more differently than I did before. So overall, this series is just really good. It's a really good isekai, and it just really surpasses majority of the anime that have been released this year, in my personal opinion. Okay, let's just talk about Blue Period for a second. I'm only a few episodes in with Blue Period, but for Blue Period so far, it's just, I can't even relate with the MC at all. Like, I don't have any passions for art or anything. I've never had anything like that. But just somehow, like, this anime just kind of makes me feel emotionally invested. Like, I want to see, like, where the MC goes with his dream and his goals of, like, becoming an artist, and, like, how he wants to develop his art skills. Like, if he could get into that art school he wants to when he graduates. It just really just gives you a ride throughout the journey. So I really think it's a really good anime so far. Like, it has a really good start. Like, gave off a really good vibe for first impressions. So far, I think Blue Period deserves an A tier, but before that, there's something else that deserves A tier also, which is Osama ranking. Now let's talk about that for a second. Osama ranking, or King's ranking, is about a boy who's supposedly successor to the throne. He's a little kid. Like, once his father passes away, he would, like, become the new king, but that hasn't happened so far because of his lack of capabilities. Like, he's not, like, really ready and, like, developed and matured enough to be able to, like, take on the burden and, like, the entire responsibility of becoming the king of the country. So instead, someone else in his place becomes the king. So then Boji just sets out on a journey. To just, like, really just see the world for himself, to, like, grow and just see how he could, like, develop, if like, to see if he'll become, like, worthy of the throne or not. I think and since I've seen more of it, I think I'm gonna put it as first, a high A tier, and then Blue Period will go second to it. So Blue Period, I've only seen like 2 to 3 episodes, so A tier is gonna be a placeholder for it for now. Alright, I'm going with the Faraway Paladin next. This is another one of those great isekais this season that just takes a turn on your average one. Now this one, like, kind of gives off Mushoku Tensei vibes also. I don't remember exactly how, since I'm not exactly caught up. The last episode I watched was like 5 or 6. But so far the journey has been great. I really love the main cast. Dempsey's a pretty good character. I think he's well developed. Like, it's showing, like, how he matures from his previous life, and, like, how he could, like, find his own strengths and weaknesses and just become a better person. The author is a really great person. If you've seen him on Twitter, bro, this man is so nice. This man is just, like, so supportive of, like, his Western fans also. Yeah, like, the author is a literal Chad. Like, just knowing the authors like that, it just makes you want to support the series even more. As a placeholder again, since I haven't seen too much episodes of this, I've only seen, like, the first few. Kyokai Senki, I think that's what it was called. I forgot the English name. Now this is a mecha anime. I barely watched Gundam. I've only seen, like, 1 Gundam series, but I've seen clips of, like, some others. Like, and somehow, like, in some way, this kind of reminds me of a Gundam series a little bit. But it's just not too, like, drastic enough to, like, tell the differences between them. So far, this series has just been pretty good so far. I've really been enjoying it so far. Okay, next up is Komi-san. Now, I'm pretty sure you all know what this is. I don't need to explain it. It's been a meme for like years. This anime is like more wholesome than I thought it'd be, but like in a good way. It's just like really entertaining. I really like the characters, especially Tadano. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. And I really like his relationship with Komi, like his friendship with Komi, and like just thought like the whole thing with Komi, and just basically the experiences she has and like the relationships she builds. I find it like really interesting, and this has a really good cast. And so far, the anime has just been has just been pretty entertaining so far. There's an A tier. I don't know. It's been entertaining enough, and like the characters are good enough that like the characters in cast are good enough. I think it deserves an A tier, not a B tier. All right, next up is Moon Laika and the Blood-Sucking Princess. If I recall correctly, that was the English title. It's just basically about you know, the vampire girl. Her name was Laika. She wanted to go to space. She wants to be like the first like actual being to go to space and like test it out. Think of NASA, for example. It's like an organization, like a space organization, and basically they're using this vampire girl. They captured her or something, to basically use her as a test subject to go to space to see if it's safe or not, and like the precautions of it, and like to see if like the person would die or not, all that kind of stuff. So they wanted to use her as a test subject, and naturally she wants to be the first to go to space. Also, she wants to experience space for herself, even if it means risking her life to do it. So I feel like that's like kind of the strong point of the series, and that's what like makes it really enjoyable and interesting. That like she doesn't want to give up her dreams and goals of going to space. She doesn't care if she has to die because of it, as long as she can go to space and land on the moon or something, and or just get a view of it for herself. She would risk anything. But the side thing is, like, she also cares about this human guy she has a relationship with, which is basically kind of her personal manager in this organization, just watching over her, and like I guess some kind of bodyguard, but also just someone who's supposed to be observing her. I forgot his name, but speaking of him, I really do like the voice actor for him. Like I think the voice actor was Uchiyama Kogi. He is a really great voice actor, so I really loved voice cast for this anime also. Relation with the relationship and like the whole going to space thing, I just found it like really interesting. So I'm also I think it deserves an A tier. Okay, let's talk about Build Divide. I really enjoyed the series. I'm not usually a fan of card game stuff. Build Divide is like one of those exceptions. I mean, it's nothing perspective changing. It doesn't alter my view on card game animes as a whole. It's just this one anime that just felt like an exception, that just actually felt interesting. I really like the story and like where it's going, and like how like they have this whole city, but city is like the only world there is. So it like really leaves up for perception. I think that's the word. It really leads up to you like theorizing like what's going on. Like if they're in some like type of fake world or like made up reality, stuff like that. Events that just lead up to everything. It's just what makes this anime interesting and just stand out a little more. And I really like the characters, especially the MC. I just really like the vibe he gives off. So I think because I'm a little biased, I'm biased, I gotta put it in A tier. For Megaton Musashi, aside from the character designs looking weird to me and the mecha looking like something out of a live action movie, with the amount of CGI it has, I think the series is alright so far. I've only seen a couple of episodes, so I don't know how it's gonna turn out later on down the line, if quality is gonna keep up or not. But for now, I'm gonna put it on B tier as a placeholder. Okay, so for Attack on Destiny, I waited until the series was finished. Now, the beginning was really good. The first few episodes were really off to a solid start. Then, after like the middle half, the second half of the show, it just started going downhill. I won't get too in depth about it, but it was just basically somewhat of a train wreck. It felt like they couldn't really decide which path they wanted to go, what they wanted to introduce, or like how they wanted the story to play out. And they also just kept introducing villains that just came out of nowhere without any previous build-up whatsoever. But yeah, I have like a lot of mixed thoughts about this show. In the end, it wasn't that bad. I liked the ending. The ending made sense. But overall, like, there's just like a lot of flaws with this show. So far, I think it's worth a B tier, mainly because of the animation, and also I really like the voice cast for this. My senpai is annoying. You can't go wrong with Best Girl Sakurai. Enough said. B tier. Sekai Saikyo, like the MC, is like one of the better isekai protagonists, and he's actually pretty smart and just not dense. And I feel like this anime just really has a good combination of action, training, character development, world building, and just harem in general. Except it's an incest harem. B tier. Alright, Platinum End. I don't know how to explain this, so I've been ignoring it for a while, as you've seen. So all I'm gonna say is, the MC sure isn't doing a good job at being a good protagonist. B tier. Alright, next up is banished from the hero's party. I decided to become a pharmacist. Or the Japanese name is just Shin no Nakama. This anime, at the first half, it really just focused on the relationship between blue-haired guy and the blonde-haired girl. It was just pure romance, but there are like other elements, like fantasy elements. And I'm surprised it isn't an isekai, because the world setting and like the entire setting of this just reminds me of an isekai series. But, you know, it's just pure fantasy. But in the last few episodes, we've been focusing on other side characters, like the hero's party, and like the hero herself, which has been much better than the romance part. So, I'm gonna give this a B tier. I think it was a pretty solid series. Next up is Fruit of Evolution. So, basically this is an isekai series. And I'm gonna be honest, it's just really generic in terms of being an isekai, but somehow it's pretty damn entertaining, and I really enjoy the cast of this. I'm slapping this in a B tier. Visual Prison is basically, I can't believe it's not yaoi. It has some pretty decent characters, and I really like the songs, they're pretty solid. For a music anime, which I don't really watch much, but yeah, overall, I think it's an okay series. So I will put that in a B tier. Now we have Selection Project. Just think of it as Love Live. Just think of it as Love Live. It's pretty similar to like the type of thing Love Live is. Just basically girls participating in a singing competition, trying to be the best idol. I don't hate it, but it's not really my type of thing. But I think from what I've seen so far, it wasn't boring. I think I will give it a B tier. Next, we have Sakugan. Sakugan, these nuts. Next is Miroku-chan. The fan service is high quality. Enough said. I'll still have this in a big high B tier. The very last but not least, World's End Harem. The fan service is top tier. And I am now done with this tier list. Now take a good look at it and reflect on your own scores. 20 likes and I'll do another one of these. This video was quite tedious to make, mainly because of my shitty reviews on it. I hope my shitty reviews were entertaining to you. But I don't think I will be doing another one of these for the next season, since I don't have a lot of time to catch up with animes nowadays, especially new ones. So I just usually check out whatever one interests me the most, which is just like a few of them out of like all of them. So I probably won't be doing another one next season, but I will do another one of these eventually down the line, probably in spring. But again, like I said, 20 likes, do another one. But anyways, that is it for today. I will see you guys in the next one.